Today we are going to talk about potatoes. It's the middle of February and this is the perfect time to pick up your potatoes. Growing potatoes just makes me so happy. It is such an easy thing to grow, I think anyway. I've been growing mine in containers. I think this is either my 5th or my 6th year growing potatoes. And with the exception of 1 year where I had veg beds up where the greenhouse is now, I've always grown them in containers. And I feel like planting potatoes and then digging them up is such a great thing to do with the kids. My nephew Matthew loves digging them up, and I was looking for footage that I'd filmed when he was over the past previous years, and I realised that I didn't have that much because whenever we're digging them up, I'm in the moment, you know, and I'm just enjoying his excitement of like, oh my god, it's like finding treasure, and he loves it. Yeah, so 1 year I grew them in beds, the rest of the years in containers. Today we're going to head to Arboretum and I'm going to show you the different supplies that you need. Minimal supplies. There are a few different types of potatoes that you can pick up, and potatoes are the type of thing that you can grow if you have a large garden, if you have a small garden, even if you have no garden, because there's lots of different options for growing potatoes in containers that will suit small spaces. So I'm probably going to buy some first earlies because I've always grown those. They're nice and small, perfect for potato salads or for boiling. And I really want to cook with them for barbecues this year. I'm excited about that. And I feel like you get a good harvest. And then with second earlies, they take just a little bit longer. The potatoes are slightly bigger. And then you have the main crop potatoes, which take even longer to grow and to harvest. And they store better as well. I'll talk to you about that properly when we're in store. But if you've never grown anything before, and if there's one thing that I'd recommend growing, it's potatoes. Okay, let's go to Arboretum. And I'm going to be restrained today. And actually, sorry, while we're here, let me know what you're thinking about growing this year, be it food or flowers. I'd love to know, because yes, I have a seed collection as long as my arm, but like, what if I'm forgetting something? Like something crucial. Anyway, let's go potato shopping. Okay, I've made it to Arboretum Kilquaid, like look, in my element, and they have the potatoes. So we have our first early potatoes, which is what I'm going to grow. I like growing these because I've had great success with them in the past. You can harvest them really early, so these ones only take 10 to 12 weeks. So when we plant them on St. Patrick's Day or in and around then, like middle of March, you can do these middle of March to middle of April. And then 10 to 12 weeks later, we can harvest them. So with first earlies, you get a smaller potato. They're more tender. And these are great for potato salads, for boiling them, a little bit of herbs, a little bit of butter, just in time for barbecue season. You can get second early potatoes as well, which only take 13 to 15 weeks. And with second earlies, they take, that bit longer, but they're slightly larger potato. Never grown second earlies. I wonder, should I? I'm very impatient. That's why I always go for like the first earlies. And then we have the main crop potatoes. Now you have to have patience for this because these take 15 to 22 weeks. Now with the main crop potatoes, the potatoes themselves are larger and they also store better. But like the way I see it, like it's mainly me and Mum at home, so we don't need something that we're going to need to store. It's only the two of us, so I'd much rather for myself just grow the first earlies, but maybe the second earlies. When I was in Arboretum Carlow last week, I picked up a pack of the potato planter bags, because they're so handy. They're what I've always grown my potatoes in, with the exception of 1 year, I think I said earlier, I did it in veg beds. But look what I'm actually getting now as well. So look at this, right? You think, okay, this is just like a regular plant pot. No. This is specifically for potatoes. So it looks like a regular pot, okay? And then inside it has this section that comes out. Lots of holes. So the idea is to plant your potatoes. We'll do that like mid-March because I'm going to get one of these. Plant your potatoes, and then when it's time to harvest them, all you have to do is lift that up and you can get to your potatoes. So I think something like this will be handy for those who wouldn't be able to lift like the heavy potato planter bags, because they can get quite heavy, especially when you have the potatoes or if like the soil gets really wet, and they can be hard to lug around your garden. Now with this, you're not going to get as many potatoes, but it's handier. It's like really handy for patios, for balconies, for small spaces. Pretty versatile. Like you could grow other stuff in there as well. Like I'm sure you could grow like parsnips or carrots and just like hoosh them up. Not good. Anyway, that has drainage holes as well, but I just thought it'd be something new to try this year and see how I get on. So I'm going to experiment with this and then with the potato planter bags as well, because listen, I love an experiment. The scientist in me is happy out. I'm just going to grab my compost. That's what I need, yeah. What I need is potatoes, something to grow them in, compost. Boom, sorted. But don't forget, we're not going to plant the potatoes just yet. We're going to chit them. I'll explain about that when we get home. Okay, let's go home. Okay, we're home. I got the supplies. So, like I said to you before, I've always grown first earlies in containers, with the exception of 1 year. So this This is what I'll be growing my potatoes. Now I'm not going to plant them yet, but this is what I'm going to be growing my potatoes in this year. Potato planter bags, pack of 2, and they're really handy. And like these are really versatile because even if you don't want to grow potatoes in them this year, you can always grow carrots, parsnips, like anything that's like a root vegetable, I think would do well in those. Pack of 2, and like these ones have like little Velcro doors that you can open them up if you did want to have like a little root, grab your potatoes. But as I said, we're not going to be planting those yet. If you do see the supplies, now would be the time I'd recommend picking them up, just so that you have them. Like there's no panic then, like looking for them. So they had those in Arboretum. So I got those. And then I got one of these, the potato pots. Is that what they're called? I'm so intrigued with this because it has the inner and the outer pot. So something like this will be really versatile. If you decided, do you know what? I'm not going to grow potatoes. You can take this part out and just use this as a pot in and of itself. It has the drainage holes in there. It has like a, actually, sorry, I didn't even see this. Look at the little picture in there. So it says, it has the inner and the outer pot. You planted 2 seed potatoes in there and then you have an easy harvest. I love that. See, something like this would be great for my mum because I wouldn't be comfortable with her lifting up like a big potato bag, like the potato planter bag, because that's big, and like when you fill that with compost, like over the course of like the few weeks, it can get heavy, and especially when it gets wet with the rain. So I think something like this is a bit more manageable, and then yeah, it's a bit lighter as well. So yeah, the idea is you sit the insert in, put a bit of compost in, put 2 seed potatoes. I'll see, I might put 3. But like at the end of the day, like you're not going to get like a massive harvest with this. I think it's a great way of growing your own if you're limited on space. Look, there's your man there in the front. He's delighted with his little harvest. Love that. So we have that. And then we have the potatoes themselves. I did just film a reel for this, so I have these all prepped. So I've been saving my egg cartons. I have like these little bits just over the last couple of weeks so that I can chit the potatoes. And the idea behind chitting your potatoes is basically you're preparing them for planting out. You're kind of giving them the best chance at success. So you know when you get potatoes, hold on, because I have, you know when you get potatoes, obviously. So here we have 2 spuds. And they're going to give us hopefully loads of spuds. They're so exciting, I just love that. So see that we have the start of like little shoots here. That's what we want. But we don't want, you know, if you have potatoes that you've either left in the cupboard or you've forgotten all about them and you see those real long shoots, we don't want those. The shoots that we're hoping that these are going to give are like little stubby, they'll be like dark purple, kind of like real chubby, chunky. They're a bit mad looking, the shoots, if I'm honest. So they're not going to grow much more than like a centimetre or so. And that's going to prime the potatoes so that when we do go to plant them, they'll shoot up really nicely. So we're kind of giving them a head start. This is what I like to do, like a little egg carton or one of these little fruit trays. And you're going to investigate your spud. And I'd like to see where the eyes are, where the shoots are starting to come up, or I think they're going to come up. And so I've got a good few on the top here compared to nothing really on the bottom. So I'm going to set that into my tray with the shoots facing upwards. Same with this little one. He's cute. Sit him there. That's it. That's it. So easy. It's like a couple of small little ones there. Another little couple there. Got some there. And then we have that one there. So these are ready to go. And what I'll do with these is, I don't think I'll leave them here in the greenhouse. I think I'm going to put them on a windowsill inside. So you want somewhere cool and bright. Ideally out of direct sunlight, but at the moment that's not an issue because we've got like no sun. In fairness, now it did get sunny one day last week and it was joyful. It was like real cold. No complaints there. It was lovely. And that's it. So we're just going to keep an eye on those. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, you'll see that these shoots will develop into like really, as I said, they're almost like this colour here, like little dark stubby shoots. Then in and around St. Patrick's Day, that's when I plant them. I know I keep saying that, but I just think it's the best thing ever. Planted potatoes on St. Patrick's Day. How Irish is that? I have like so many spuds here. I don't keep these all myself because like for this one, for this they say to put 2. I will probably put 3. No, I'll put 2. And then for, oh actually, sorry, I have a bag from last year here. But there's no creepy crawly. So this is a bag that I used last year. Just to show you the size that we're talking. Hold on, let me move you down a little bit so I can. This is one of the potato. I just don't want to open that bag. So this is one that I've used last year. and we can get a good bit of compost in there. So potatoes, they will take a lot of compost if you're growing them in containers like this. But if you're growing them in veg beds, you're fine. You won't need to do like the earthing up process, which we'll talk about when we go to plant. These potato planter bags, they have like handles on either side so you can lift them up around, and then they have this Velcro, I'm afraid that there's something in here, little Velcro door, not door, opening, that if you did want to reach in and harvest them. But what we've done in the past is, like with my nephew Matthew, I've gotten the wheelbarrow out and I'll upend this into the wheelbarrow, and then he just digs away to his heart's content, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun for us as well. So I remember the first year we grew potatoes, I'd never grown before and I didn't know how many we'd get. And we were like opening up, myself and Mum, we were like going through the compost and like just finding, we had a great old harvest. I think I have a picture or two of them here. And yeah, it was great. So like, let's say like if we're planting these potatoes mid-March and 10 to 12 weeks, like so in June, start July, we are going to be ready for an absolute harvest, a feast, if you will. One of my favourite things to do is to grow bits that whenever the family is over for a barbecue and we can just like pick and eat. And we've done it with corn on the cob. I've grown that here. I used to have veg beds right here where the greenhouse is, and it was brilliant for growing corn. And I grew tomatoes in veg beds one year. The rest of the years I've grown them in pots, and when the year I grew them in veg beds, I don't know if it's because I grew them in a bed or because we had a lot of rain that year, but they got struck down by the blight and I just didn't get much of a harvest. Since then, it's all about tomatoes in pots, potatoes in containers. I think, yeah, I did grow potatoes in a veg bed one year, and yeah, just grew them in like one row just to see what it was like. And that's what it is. That's what growing your own is all about, experimenting, trying something new. And yeah, so anyway, nothing else has grown. Like, you know, the way we did seeds last week, nothing else has happened since then. So I've loads of spuds, and what I'll do is whenever these are ready to plant out, I'll plant some out. I'll give some to my brother-in-law and sister because they have a veg bed. I don't know if they're going to do potatoes in veg beds this year or in the planter bags. We'll see. But like I said in the previous video, anything that I grow food-wise will be in containers this year. And I do like to sow some seeds, as we know. And what I love doing is sowing seeds, potting them on, and then giving plants to friends and family. So that's what I'll do with Will and Joanne as well. So we'll kind of see how things perform in their veg beds versus in containers here. Do you know what? I love this. It's the amount of messages that I've gotten, especially on Instagram, from people saying that they're so happy with the partnership with the Arboretum, that it's a great fit, but that I've inspired them to try growing their own for the first time. That's my job. That's what I love. I want everyone to grow their own. I just want people to give it a go. And I think that it's a lot less daunting if you're going to be growing things in containers. I do require a bit more maintenance, but I do have tips when it comes to container gardening. But that'll be like a later thing. My advice is, if you're thinking about growing potatoes, get the bits that you want now. Pick up your spuds anyway now. You see the potato planter bags, or if you see that container, the plant pot or the potato pot, pick them up. Start chitting your potatoes, and then in a few weeks, we'll be planting, ready to live off the land. Let me give you a little tour of the greenhouse. Like, this is a little citrus tree. I got that as a press drop, 2 years ago maybe. And there were little tiny mandarins in there. So I'm just keeping that in here over the winter. But in fairness, I think in here is probably the best place because this greenhouse gets roasting hot. Something that I do need to tackle when it comes to the summer. And then I have this geranium that smells like eucalyptus. I don't know how I'm doing this. You're not going to be able to smell it, but I want to get more of these. They're like little soft, like velvety leaves. When you smell it, yeah, it smells like Vicks. It smells like eucalyptus. I love that. I did do cuttings of that. Where is that now? Okay, not hugely successful with the cuttings of that. 2 of them didn't make it. This one looks okay. I think I'll pot those on actually. This here is an olive tree, and that was also a press drop. Like, lads, that is the way to my heart. I love when beauty and nature combines. I love that. I think that the more I'm getting into gardening and that, the more I'm loving plants being at the centre of the beauty products that I love. Anyway, that needs to be kind of watered and stuff. I'm going to be pruning the big olive tree, which was another press drop from a few years ago. Like, she's doing well, but she needs a haircut because, you know, she's just kind of like getting leggy now. These pots here are also cuttings. Hold on, I'll show you. This is some kind of salvia. The full plant is over there. outside in that bed, but I think it's like a deep maroon pink. I don't know. I just wanted to try and do cuttings. I didn't even know if you could or not. So most of them took. Is that the same thing? I don't know. I didn't label it. See, this is the way I have to label things. This is something. This might be the same thing. I don't know. And then this. I do need to put this on today. This, I believe, these are Salvia Amistad's, and I put them in perlite. Yeah, because I saw Monty Don doing it last year. Actually, do you know what we'll do? Let's put these on really quickly now because I feel like they need it. Yeah, because I can see little shoots coming up. So see here. Oh, there. See here, the little shoots between the leaves. I was looking up the other day about old compost because there's ways that we can reuse old compost. But I have old seed sowing compost from last year that I didn't want to sow seeds in now in this year because I was afraid that they would lose like the nutrients in that. I'd rather sow seeds with fresh compost. But I did look online and it said that I can use the old seed compost to pot things on. So actually that's what we're going to do now. That's what I did the other day. I came out here for like 2 minutes looking for something, and then 20 minutes later I had like repotted those 2 pots there, and I was just so happy. Like, if I could explain to you, just even 10 minutes in the garden, and that's it. I feel like a lot of people who are new to gardening are a bit overwhelmed, and I get that. Like, it can be an overwhelming thing where you so much to start with and so much to learn and take in, and it's as simple as like just doing 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. If you're on your lunch break and if you work from home, just coming out for like a few minutes and you can get a few jobs done. So let's do that really quickly. And I just cleaned the table and now I'm going to make a mess again. I realised I lost my train of thought again. I just get really excited. So I forgot to finish the tour of the little shelf here. So these shelves actually were old veg beds. I just took those apart and kept the little shelves on their fab. So yeah, cuttings from some kind of salvia. Those are my sweet peas. That's like a little bug hotel. I just thought it was cute for now. Chives that I need to bring inside because I'm making garlic bread tonight. Got like a little biscuit tray or biscuit tin there with some Ami Magus seeds that I'm gonna sow and save. And I love, see these trays here. So I got them in a pack of 3 in, where did I get? In Max Salvage Yard. So I got that one, and then these ones here as well. They're just gorgeous, like a lovely kind of bit of decor. And I just thought I'd have some up here. And actually, sorry, now that we're here, my sister got me this from Etsy last year, and it's for hanging dried or flowers to dry them. And I do want to do dried flowers this year. I got this last year in the range. I just love it. And I think, you know what, that'll be a lovely Mother's Day gift for somebody. I don't know if they still have them now. That's, as I said, from last year. And I love this one because it's so true. It is so true. I'd seen Monty Don do his salvia cuttings in perlite, and he just moistened it and everything. And I don't know. Oh, yeah, look, there's like, can you see? There's like a little root coming out. So that's good. I'll cut off like any of the dead leaves, like the leaves that are a little bit scorched. I think I left it out in the cold. We're going to give this more room and go for a slightly larger pot and give them, yeah, proper nutrients now. So I never heard of anybody doing that before, and I just did what Monty Don said. Okay. Oh, we got some good roots. Look. We got a little root. Oh, well, that's encouraging. Where did my little scissors go? That's good. I'm just going to cut the leaves. So see the way the leaves, see the way some of the leaves have gone like a little bit brown. I'm just going to cut those off. So at least there's still a bit of leaf there for photosynthesis to happen and to help them grow. So put those there. Oh, this is good. Sorry, we have like the root or little shoots coming up there. And that's usually what happens. So leaves were here and here, and shoots, like side shoots, will come out. So that's good. Oh, it is a big one. So actually, this is a good example. So see the way here, you've got the main stem, and then you have these leaves coming out like a little side shoots, and like there's nothing much happening above those side shoots. So I'm just going to nip that because yeah, that's what we need to do. Just cutting off these leaves that have the bit of brown. So I'm just going to give these a little bit of water, just a bit, because this compost is quite wet as it is. And hopefully now this old seed compost will have enough, this is like seed and potting on compost, like cutting compost. So hopefully that will have enough nutrients to help these grow a bit, because like I took those cuttings from one salvia. So if these take, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new plants for free. Hopefully. Do it in the spring. I think I'll give that a repot. I'll like get Mam loves doing all the pruning and stuff, so she'll cut off all the brown leaves and everything, and I'll give that, yeah, a bit of a repot, because I think I'm gonna just add a bit of water into the tray, because the soil that it's in feels quite compact, and yeah, I feel like it needs fresh soil, so I'll do that kind of in the spring. But that's it for now. This is what happens. I just come out to do one thing, and then I end up doing bits and bobs. I think that's probably one of my favourite things about being in the garden and doing stuff. Is like, you just potter, and there's a lot to be said for a potter in the jardin. It's coming into the season where we're going to be able to get cracking properly. But what I'll ask you to do now, your main homework now, is to go get yourself some potatoes. As I said, I got these in Arboretum, and chit them. So get your egg cartons, get your food containers, whatever. They actually had, when I was there a couple of weeks ago down in Carlow, they had, you know, the bulb baskets. So if you were to like lift your bulbs, like your spring bulbs or your summer bulbs, you can store them in like these little baskets. But they had those in the potato section. I was like, oh, they'd be good for chitting your potatoes, kind of let airflow and everything. So that's your homework. Get your bits, that in a few weeks we'll be able to plant our potatoes, and then like wait for them to grow. I'll leave the link for the potatoes, the planter, the pot, and everything that I got in Arboretum in the description box if you want to pick anything up, because now is the time. Okay. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.